Okay, good morning, good morning. This is the Pisces New Moon ceremony for the Mystic Mama community. I want to talk a little bit about what does Mystic Mama mean? So, mystic is someone who is seeking connection with the divine or something greater than themselves. That's what we're doing here in the Mystic Mama community, breaking those generational trauma cycles, being able to parent consciously while also incorporating a lot of spiritual routines and rituals to keep us calm, not feeling so overwhelmed with the mothering process, and more ease and flow is what I'm hoping this community will bring for you all. So, excuse me, I'm getting over a little cold. Make sure you're drinking lots of water. So we're going to get started by talking about Pisces. Pisces is, if you feel into that energy, if you know any Pisces, kind of call them in and think about these things as I'm talking. So Pisces is very mystical, intuitive. This Pisces new moon is a lot about like feeling deeply into our emotions. It's a water sign, so like I tend to think of the water element as a releasing of emotions through like crying and really deeply feeling the emotions and not stuffing them down. And then, so new moon means that in the cosmos, right, in our solar system, in our galaxy, the sun and the moon are in the same spot in the sky. So new moons are a great time to set new intentions. What limiting beliefs are you going to let go of? And so we're going to start with, we're going to do kind of 4 individual pieces to one ritual. I'm calling this ritual, the whole thing, Healing Waters. That's what I would like you to embody in this kind of ceremony. I called it a ceremony. I went back and forth between energy meeting and ceremony, and I really felt like ceremony was the right fit because we are celebrating you, the oneness of us all, our own individual divine spark, and that's what makes us like good mamas, when we can feel deeply into that intuitive, mystical space that helps us be the mamas that we want to show up as. Okay, so we're going to get started with the ritual. I have these, they're called Magnificent 101. They're very clean candles. They are made in China, but I found them on Amazon and I really like them. They have, essential oils that support new moon and new beginnings and setting intentions. So I like to use these for my new moon. Some people would argue that you want to use a new candle each new moon. And if you feel called to do so, I like to use the little tea light candles. And I love the card that comes in it. It says, light this candle while focusing on what you wish to create. So that's what we're gonna do. So I've lit my candle. I didn't tell you to bring any sage or Palo Santo for smudging, but I am going to use that right now. So what we're doing now is creating a sacred space. So we are calming our nervous system. I call it like bringing ourselves back into neutral. And I'm just going to light a little bit. And I find that blue sage works best for new moon, to call in that kind of like prosperity and abundance. It also still cleanses the energy. Um, oh yeah, that's nice. Okay, and then I also have some Palo Santo wood. Palo Santo for me represents grounding. So that means I'm connected to Mother Earth, Gaia. When we're grounded, we're able to hold our emotions in space, give space for our emotions better. And if you have any littles, like toddlers, this is a great foundational practice. And even if you have older kids, like teenagers, doing these spiritual routines and rituals will always bring you back to yourself. All right, making sure I don't burn down my shed here. Okay. I'm just gonna lay this around. So now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about setting the space, I'm laughing because, yeah, I just feel there's some energy. Like, what the heck is Kayla talking about? So what I want you to do is just focus on your breath and make sure your feet are flat on the ground. And I am sending Reiki level 2 distance Reiki. Now, if you don't know what Reiki is, it is the ability to tap into life's universal energy and move that energy. So I'm sending that energy to you, sorry. Bringing it to myself as well. There's a lot of self-practice when you practice Reiki. So I'm just setting the space. And please feel free to listen to this as many times as you need. It will meet you where you're at. So in a way, this is kind of shaping into a attunement, if you've ever heard that term. I'm attuning us to the energy of Pisces new moon. Okay, what are we doing next? So now we're going to, based on the things I was talking about, the feelings and things that came up for you, we're going to set our intentions on our piece of paper. I'm writing in my actual journal because it feels good. It feels right. I was going to bring up some healing music, but sorry. Ah. So I'm feeling into 432 hertz healing frequency. There we go. Hopefully you can hear that. And I'm happy to tell you what I'm writing because maybe it will resonate with some folks. So I really want to continue. So this is where we can set new intentions, but also gratitude and thanks for the space that we are in. So I'm going to continue practicing conscious parenting and like tuning into my kids' needs. Okay, now I'm going to be thinking about what I want to let go of. So I'm letting go of limiting beliefs when it comes to parenting, when it comes to money, making money. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. Um, I'm also letting go of how or where I thought my life would be. And so the last thing I'm going to write is I'm going to be leaning into kind of this divine union, divine sacred energy, and trusting, surrendering to God universe. So essentially, I'm letting go of the control, right? Okay. Just going to turn this down just a little bit more. So then I could have it playing in the background and I could talk over it. Okay. Okay. So we've set our intentions. So the sun and moon are in alignment right now. And now what we're doing is we're setting our intentions and putting ourselves in alignment with our highest selves. Excuse me. And so we're able to call in, we're putting ourselves in a place where we can call in our biggest dreams and desires. Infinite possibilities is what I want you to think about or feel into. Okay. So now we're going to take our bowl of water. And we're going to energetically charge our water. So I'm placing my two hands. There's chakras, which are energy bodies in our hands. And so our hands are really good healers. I'm placing my hands over the bowl of water and I'm just feeling into the intentions that I've set. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read mine aloud just because I like speaking things into existence as I'm like holding my hands over the water. Okay. So I'm going to continue practicing conscious parenting, increasing my awareness, and maybe you kind of ad lib a little bit more, right? You're getting more clarity and clear on your intentions that you're setting and tuning into my kids' needs. I'm going to be letting go of limiting beliefs when it comes to parenting, money, making money, how and where I thought my life would be. I can also do right now kind of like a blanketed letting go of limiting beliefs. So I could say I'm letting go of limiting beliefs that are holding me back from my highest timeline, that are holding me back from embodying more of my truest self, right? Like really feel into that. It might feel awkward in the beginning, but like when you get there, it just feels so juicy and good and whole. Okay, and then I'm leaning into divine union, which is when we have divine femininity and divine masculine, divine union into the oneness or sacred godliness of it all. And I'm trusting and surrendering to God universe, and I'm letting go of control. Okay. Now, those of you that are really intuitive or have kind of honed your intuition, that gut feeling, that knowingness, you might have some like popping in your ears or what I call clearing of energy. That's why I get kind of sniffly when I'm doing these ceremonies. I'm moving energy and like the water in my body is how my body moves energy. Okay, so now we've set the intentions into the bowl of water. And now we are going to take, so something else that I also do is I will take my new moon intentions and save them for the full moon. And then that's when I will burn them, kind of like as a And so it is to completion kind of thing. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm actually going to fold this up. I fold it however I'm called to. There's no, it's just about being present and in the moment and feeling into what your spirit needs. There's really not too much technicality when it comes to a lot of this. So yeah. And then sometimes I'll write what's called a sigil on it. So like a symbol. So if this was like, I really wanted to drive home money to the universe, I would just write dollar signs all over this. Right. I'm not feeling called to do that, but I am feeling called to kind of like free draw on the back of this. And sometimes it's like some of my symbols are tarot based. So like pentacles, all about earthly things. Like now I'm drawing a cup because I want to release. So yeah, doodle on your intentions if you want to. And then I'm going to put the paper in the water. I should hook up my other camera so we can like see this from overhead next time. Next time. And so then I'll dry this out and save it on my wealth shelf, which I'll talk about that a little bit later. Not today, at another time. Okay, so where are we now? Okay, so the water has been activated with our intentions. And so we're doing what's called an intention release. And we're basically alchemizing or transmuting, if you've ever heard that word. We're changing, we're morphing the energy and surrendering and releasing it to God universe. And what I love about this is like you can start to see the ink if you drew some symbols on the outside of your paper, like go into the water. And so as you're like being present in this moment and looking at this, you can feel into like, okay, now the energy. Like, yes, I know the physical ink is going into the water, but feeling into that energy. Okay. Okay. I'm actually just going to let mine soak until the end of this. So I'm feeling called to do so. Okay. Let me drink some water. I don't know if I said this, but I wanted to make sure when you're setting your intentions, especially with this Pisces new moon, you want it to be dream big, right? Your dreamy inspiration. So treat your letter to yourself, your intention letter, as if it's like a written vision board. Go big, you know? Yeah. Okay. So something else that I wanted to mention that has really helped me regulate my nervous system, helps me stay present and calm as a mama. Um, and then something else that I had just thought of during this ceremony is it helps me let go of the control and like grasping so tightly to it. We like to call these from Green Compass, USDA organic hemp-based CBD. We like to call this first product the No Yelly Jelly. I take the full spectrum, which has trace amounts of THC, legal amounts of THC. This is legal in all 50 states because of the Farm Bill. So I take my full spectrum jelly daily. I usually take mine in the afternoon, right before school pickup. That seems to work really well for me. And sometimes when I'm experiencing a lot of pain in my body, say I'm like leveling up or upgrading, or it could just be my rheumatoid arthritis, um, joint pain, I will up it to 1 in the afternoon and then 1 in the evening. So this is our raspberry citrus flavor. I love this flavor. I'm just going to show you how pretty these things are. Really great quality. They have 90 to 95% absorption, and you want to take them like a cough drop. You want to suck on them because there's a lot of receptors in our mouth for CBD. So why should I take I call this our daily CBD multivitamin. Why should I take this? Because our body is kind of like a Christmas tree with string of lights, and it has this system called the endocannabinoid system. I call it the ECS for short. And so the ECS is kind of like traffic control. It basically takes the CBD that's depleted from environmental stressors, mama stress, just daily life stress, and those receptors are depleted. And so the ECS system takes that CBD that you're taking in your daily CBD multivitamin and refills it back up. So if it's like a Christmas tree, that string of lights has a couple of lights out, the ECS turns that light back on, and now you're a full shining Christmas tree. The other thing I wanted to mention that I take daily is our lemon lime collagen. Most days I take this hot right now because we're still kind of in winter as like a hot tea. So I heat the water up, then I add my scoop. Um, this is the best collagen I've ever had. You will start to crave it. That's what people say, but it's true. And then I use my little whiskey thing to whisk it up. And it blends so easily. This has CBG in it. So this is a different cannabinoid than CBD. Again, lemon lime flavor. It's kind of like lemon tea is how I drink it in the morning. We also have chocolate, which is amazing. I could talk about that next time. So these two together, you can get in a Balance and Restore bundle for first-time customers of $99. The link is in my profile, and I can also add it to this video in the chat. But yeah, so I take those every day along with other Green Compass products, but those are a great place to start if you want or need help in regulating your nervous system, being more present as a mama, and being able to tune into your kids' needs and not feeling so overwhelmed with all the never-ending to-do lists and taking care of all the people in your life, mothering all the people in your life. So this is a way that I'm able to practice self-care and mother myself, right? A huge part of my journey being a mother is learning to self-care and fill up my own cup and take care of myself. So I hope that was helpful. Please feel free to chat in the comments. Any questions you have when you do the ceremony, or any things that came up for you. I want this to be an ongoing open conversation. I hope you have a great rest of your day and talk to you soon.